Chair now recognizes Representative Amade from the great state of Arizona.
Thank you, Chairman.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lee, from the lender side of the table, where's the single biggest source of delay or added cost in the VA loan process compared to conventional or FHA loans?
Well, the MBA would like to see a modernization of both the appraisal standards and how appraisers are approved for the process. The MBA does believe that 5 years is too long. We would love to see something much closer to the way the rest of the market operates. A lot of states have adopted a 2-year period. That we think would be sufficient, and that would speed along that process. Also, as we've talked about, a modernization of the minimum property standards to bring it closer to where Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are with the GSEs would definitely streamline the program.
And now VA still relies on manual underwriting, while FHA has moved to the semi-automated systems that can approve a loan in 2 to 7 days compared to the VA's roughly 10. Now, from an industry standpoint, what would automated underwriting do for VA loan competitiveness and for the veterans waiting on approvals?
Automated underwriting does speed along the loan process, especially for the loans that are, fit more right away into the box of underwriting, where the underwriting's simple, the income is simple. So that would be helpful. But we don't think it's the absolute major choke point of getting a VA loan approved as fast as possible.
Right, but if it can speed it up by maybe 8 to 3 days compared to FHA, that would make a big difference.
It would make a difference, and it would reduce the stigma that's sometimes on a VA loan for the fact that it might be harder or take longer to get to the closing table.
Sure. I'm all about just making it simple. If FHA is doing something, I don't see why VA is taking a longer time. They're both federal programs. Now, Mr. Thompson, I hear from veterans in Phoenix, Peoria, Surprise, Glendale, that there is a real stigma against VA loans in competitive housing markets. Listing agents falsely claim that VA loans take longer to close or have a higher denial rate, when the data shows it's just the opposite. VA loans actually have the lowest denial rate of any loan type. Now, from your experience in the field, how pervasive is this stigma, and what can be done to educate the real estate community?
I think it's a timeline issue. So many times when you're looking at a transaction, the appraisal comes in at a certain point after home inspections, purchase, and sales. So when that's coming in, there is a potential for a property to have a risk exposure on those elements within the minimum property requirements, so which require either a seller to take action and repair them, the consumer to take action or repair them, or the transaction could become terminal. So there is an added risk over, say, a conventional or a cash purchase, and unfortunately, in the market, that can cause some challenges. Now, I can tell you I had a client just a year and a half ago. They accepted the VA loan over a higher cash offer, so there are still sellers out there that value the good work of our servicemen and women and will do the right thing, but we can't rely on that. We need to try to streamline those programs to minimize friction for our veterans.
Yeah, that's great. There's so many brave, patriotic Americans that are willing to support our service members as well.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you all, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.